What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Real Deal Fishing Podcast. My name is Kevin,
And I'm Mike.
and we hope you had an awesome Christmas. I know I did. I had a nice, relaxing Christmas. What about you, Mike?
Well, my birthday comes right after Christmas, so I feel like I've had an action packed week to say the least. But since you asked, I'll be specific. Family Christmas takes me to several different destinations, but
Hmm.
all inside of the Des Moines city limits. And I just have to say, it was amazing. I really felt relaxed the whole day. I didn't
Good.
feel pressured and disappointed that I had to go here, go there, travel this and
Mhm.
that. But the weather was lovely. Honestly, we should have been fishing. It was so nice. So it was very
Weather
relaxing.
was nice in Des Moines, Iowa,
It was
huh?
that day.
It was that day. Well,
Yeah.
yesterday was your birthday, man. Happy belated. I know I've already wished you happy birthday, but
Oh yeah,
happy
thank you.
birthday again if you're listening to this. Today is December 28th, and Mike's birthday was yesterday, which was December 27th. Is that correct?
No, today's the 29th. You've
29th.
been
Today's the
you've been
29th.
camping on an island for
That's
over a
right.
day.
I'm an
Yeah.
island boy. I
Yep,
do
you got
not
caught
know the
on the
date.
island.
Well, that being said, y'all, we're going to get this show on the road. We got a fun one for you this episode. But if you want to support the Palmetto Cats YouTube channel and the Real Deal Fishing Podcast, that's both me and Mike. Go to Palmetto Cats, shop palmettocats.com. Link is always in the description of the podcast. You can go check that out. Get yourself some merch. If you didn't get what you wanted for Christmas, get you some Palmetto Cats merch. It's on fire. And we're still waiting on that logo. I think Mike was supposed to take care of that with Trish, but then the holidays kind of got to us, and
If I don't write it down, I
you know,
forget it. That's
yeah,
all
we'll get
me.
that logo out. I know at least Mike and I would like some Real Deal Fishing Podcast merch. I don't know about anybody else,
Yeah, I mean,
but
there's two of us.
there's two. But anyway, if you'd like to support the Real Deal Fishing Podcast and the website, you can go over there and check that out. I got the registration up for the knot tying tournament. I've only got 2 entries so far. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, live knot tying, fishing knot tying, go check that out on the website and register now. Thanks to our Boom Squad members who are watching live right now. I see Mr. James is in the house tonight, but uh, our Boom Squad members from Palmetto Cats get to watch us tape the live recording, which, if you're listening on the podcast, you can't see our faces. We make weird faces and do all kinds of crazy stuff. Not really, but we could be, and you're not seeing it. So if you'd like to come in the chat and talk with us and ask questions during the podcast, just join the Boom Squad. I think it's $4.99 a month for the lowest one. But anyway, we're gonna get to talking about stuff. The title of the show is Happy New Gear. You know, kind of like a spoof on Happy New Year. I was feeling cute, so I don't know if it works out or not. But with birthdays and Christmas coming by, I know that Mike and I both got or purchased some gear, so we're going to talk about that. First of all, let's talk about the gear that we were gifted. I only got one thing fishing related, actually. And
Whoa.
my love, yeah, one thing. I guess my people know that, I get what I want. My lovely wife bought me some hooks, and they were on my Amazon list, and she bought me some Mustad 10-aught Mustad Demon ultra wide gap circle hooks. That's a mouthful.
Ooh. Ultra wide
So
gap. Do you happen to have them on you so I could see?
I
You don't, do
do
you?
not. I don't. I don't. But
Well, what are you talking about them if you don't have them to show off? Come
well,
on,
because
man.
this is a podcast, nobody can see it anyway. Like
I'm just
Mike is holding up gear like it matters. Nobody can see it, Mike.
you said to make funny faces.
Oh, that's true. That's true. For our boom squad, we'll do funny antics.
That's true.
But
Okay.
Mike, so what gear did you get? Any gear gifted to you for Christmas?
You mean that somebody else bought for me?
That's right. Hmm.
Uh,
Insert
I would
Jeopardy
I
music
would have
theme.
to say that every now and then when we're doing our holiday purchases, I will just tell Kristen, "Hey, great idea. I'll get it. you'll get the other stuff. And so technically, I bought the Garmin. It was not bought for me, but the idea came from her, and it was explained to Lauren yesterday because I opened it for my birthday, and she is on board.
She's ready to
She
cast
can't
that thing
wait to
out.
cast this thing out and map out the spots that she likes to fish.
And if you listen to this podcast, this is your first one. On the last podcast, Mike talked about this thing that he got. It's basically a fish finder that you cast out from the bank and gives you those readings that you would need, on a boat, but from the bank. And so Lauren's talking about she wants to cast it out. Was she ready to go yesterday? She was ready to go out and cast it yesterday.
Oh, she was, and I nearly worked that into our schedule yesterday, despite the
Mm.
cold. There's a pond that's supposed to be within 7 or 8 minutes of my house, and I have some secret data that says that the
Secret.
pond was stocked with a
Ooh.
few specific fish
Hmm.
to make it a nice option there for the community, and that was never published. So, of course,
It's
I
not.
need to check this
It's
out.
not a secret anymore.
Well, I didn't say which direction, and,
The
and I
the
won't.
almost 100 people that listen to our podcast now know.
Yeah, yeah. This so I thought to go throw it at that pond
Mhm.
and just to see what happens to be down there and see how the thing works and everything, but the sun goes down pretty quick,
Yeah,
and,
it
one of
does.
the other
Oh, let's not talk about that.
points I wanted to talk about too, uh, what I learned this week. What I learned this week is winter is coming, winter's here, and my joints aren't ready for it.
Mm-mm.
It is cold.
It's not.
Excuse me.
It's technically winter here, but the past 2 days I've been uh like wearing short sleeves and at most I've put a hoodie on.
Oh, I like that.
Today, Mike, no lie, it was 80 degrees in
Wow.
South Carolina. That was the high. That was
Our
the
high
high.
was 20 and it
Whew.
snowed.
So when I got back, we'll get back to the fishing gear real quick, but just a side note, on the way back from my camping trip, I must have slept better than I thought in that tent because on the way back, I was like, I'm going to stop by the marine store and get my oil change because I'm about at 200 hours.
Sure.
And so I got all the stuff and I went home and I changed the gear oil. I changed the engine oil, replaced all the seals, replaced all the spark plugs, the fuel filter, the oil filter, uh, and then I took it out for a little run and I pressure washed the whole boat. And I was only able to do that because it was 80 degrees, Mike.
That's awesome. That's a highly productive day.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
I even got to fish today. I fished this morning, so you bought the Garmin for yourself, but the lady suggested it. So
Yes.
we have a joint bank account, so I can only assume that's your money is her money. So
No,
no,
we
so
do
it's your
not.
money.
We do
It was
not
your money.
have joint bank accounts.
So what? But was it your money?
Yes.
So she did
Yes, it
not
was.
buy that for you.
She did
Do you
not.
have
She
do you
did
have
not.
any gear that people bought for you? A cousin, an uncle?
Um,
It's looking sad. It's looking bleak.
I have this knife that my cousin gave me. Now, technically, to me, this is a tool that I keep in my pocket every day, all day long.
Fair enough. And
But it is a fantastic item that will be used while fishing here and there. You sometimes that pocket in your knife in your pocket is all you got, and you just gotta snip some line or get yourself out of a tree that you just tried to land or whatever it may be. But no, everything else actually I purchased either for my kids or I purchased for myself
so let's talk
because
about
I got
we went
mine
over
this year.
the Whisker Seeker rods and everything
Mhm.
last time. So what did you get for yourself this holiday season?
Well, for myself, I started off with some new fishing gloves for the
So
winter.
describe those to the podcasters.
These are a new item to my eyes. There are many different models out there, but where I struggle is I need a 2X glove
Mm,
because I got big mitts, I got big
mm.
paws.
Gorilla
So
hands.
the brand is Runkle.
Mm.
And since I'm friends with Kevin, I decided to go with a green model. It's a real it's got a little
Ooh.
gray to it, green and gray.
It's like a bright camo,
Yeah, it's
a
kind of
slime
a
camo.
like a digital slimy looking
Yeah.
cool. I think I'm cool green camo,
Oh,
and
so that's my green is
they're kind
I
of
think it's gold.
thin. They're kind of thin, so
Mm.
you can still move with them. The finger,
Mhm.
your index finger, your middle finger, and your thumb can peel back, so that way
Mm.
you can work your reel and your line as you wish. That was my first purchase, and I actually intended it on being my only purchase, but then me being me, that just didn't work out that way.
Hey, quick note about those gloves. They've been emailing me to try. They want to send me a pair of those gloves, and but the
Really?
only yeah, they keep asking me to send it. They want to send it to me, and I'm
Hmm.
like, well, what do I got to do? And they're like, you got to make this video with this and this and this and that. I'm like, nah, I'm all right.
Well,
I don't I don't want people to tell me how to make my videos, Mike.
I bought them, and I'm I'm kind of crafty when it
Okay.
comes to online purchasing. Like I will set something in my cart for
Hmm.
days, just to a week even,
Just to see
just to
if they
see if
offer you
they're
some
gonna
deals.
throw it out of the cart or if they're gonna throw me a
Mm.
coupon code. What does my purchase really mean to you
Hmm. Exactly.
in your company?
Do you
Well,
want a customer for life?
yeah, do you want a customer for life? Well, I'll let the cat out of the bag also too. I will sit there and I will type stuff in because these people are just like regular people, just like
Yeah.
us.
Hmm.
They make their own codes, they put their own stuff in there, and sometimes cracking their code isn't all that difficult. And another thing too, they obviously pay attention to each other because sometimes the same code will work on every single company.
Really?
Try free 10. Sometimes that'll take $10 off
Hmm.
or it'll take 10% off.
So do you think
Uh,
maybe it's like a code that they just didn't put an end date on, or they have it in there and they activated it on accident or something like that?
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think you're right. So I had just noticed that they put these on sale and they let me know about it. And sometimes these companies will put sales into their Amazon
Mm,
just in case you're a Prime member, you'll get extra percentages off. Cast King
right.
has Extremis, which I think you should probably take a look at that since you're outside and into more camping
Mhm.
and such. And they definitely have gloves over there, and they would not probably tell you how to make your video,
I
but
still I mean, not yet, I guess,
yeah,
but,
it
I don't know,
sounded detailed.
yeah, well,
Like,
and,
don't you trust me?
gloves right now, it's like, I don't really need them.
Yeah.
But it is gonna get colder. We'll get
Yeah.
down into the 30s and the 20s eventually. Usually in January, February, into January, February, that's when our coldest weather is. So, maybe I'll check them out when it comes around there. What else did you get?
Well,
You
for
said
the
that
boat,
you thought that was gonna be your only purchase, but
I
now.
did. I
Mm.
did. And then I had been kicking around that idea of getting a new net for 2
Oh,
months.
you did. Did you get it? They
So
pulled trigger?
here, I'll blot out the whole
There
thing.
it is, the Whisker Seeker net.
Yes, and this is the
That's a big
medium.
boy.
This is the medium. I'm
That's a
sorry, I'm blocking my own microphone. This is the medium size,
it's
Kevin.
a big boy though.
And what I liked about it was our local bait shop carries all of the Whisker
Really?
Seeker items, and it is approximately 8 minutes from me. And then the Whisker Seeker warehouse is actually another 8 minutes in the same
Yeah.
direction. But
I'd be I'd be broke, Mike.
Yeah, yeah. We're getting close, Kevin. We're getting close. But I want you to look at these nets
Mhm.
because I thought that I had seen and handled the small one. Now, is it probably big enough for fish that I catch? Yeah. But that's from a boat where you can set yourself up, let the water, the movement of the water get yourself to where you can, point that fish right into the net. I think that it's a little bit easier and to set yourself up to net the fish. Whereas on the bank, you have to be prepared for that fish to do a cartwheel to the left or a cartwheel to the
Mhm.
right. So I feel that going a little bit wider is probably a good idea. And
Mhm.
it's not that I need some gigantic net to try to compensate for the fact that my fish aren't gigantic. But
Mhm.
that being said, I could run into a
Yeah.
40 or 50-pound fish. I could.
So here's a scenario that I always tell people: don't get the gear for the fish you catch. Get the gear for the fish you want to catch. And like for instance, our friend Brian B catfishing, he's caught a 72-pound blue cat off his boat. And I don't know if you've seen that video, Mike, but I was like nervous for them when they were trying to net that fish because that net was not made for that fish.
I don't think I
And
would have tried to net a 20-pound fish in
no,
that
I
net.
would have reached my hand. I was waiting for Brian to reach his hand down there and grab that
Yep,
fish by the jaw.
I was
But I
too.
don't think I think he was too like amped up and he wasn't thinking maybe clear. And I'm speaking for him, obviously, but I thought any minute now his buddy E is gonna hit that hook and it's gonna come out his mouth and
Yep,
bye bye.
that's what I thought
Actually,
too.
I saw Brian B in a chat. Came in my chat when I went live last night, and I said, "Man, you need a HD 80."
Yes.
But yeah, get the fish. Do I catch 50-pound fish all the time? Heck no. But when I do catch one, that net, I mean, it's a breeze to net them in, and I feel comfortable that I'm gonna get that fish. So I think you made the right decision, man. You didn't get the
We
god awful big giant one that
Oh, it's beautiful.
but you got the
Oh, it's beautiful.
you got the medium one, which is
Yes, and I like
which
that it's compact.
handle yeah, it'll handle your fish and the fish you want to catch in your
Yeah,
area.
when we go fishing, and it's mainly bank fishing, when we go
Mhm.
fishing, usually it's, "Hey, you got your net, or do I need to bring my net down to the bank?" So uh, this is the only net we need. Don't bother, bringing more nets down here. We'll take care of it
Right.
kinda situation. We went through all the details the other week. You helped talk me into it because that's all I needed was just to have a nice little 3-minute rundown, detail, 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 and then, I knew I'm just wasting time, but then I
Mhm.
thought about it, and that's when I was like, "Hey, wait, I think I saw those at the bait shop up against the wall." So,
Mhm.
I took Lauren to the bait shop, and this is a good story. I
Mhm.
took Lauren to the bait shop. I had driven by it before to tell her what was in there.
Mhm.
How it was all this tackle, there's lures, there's catfishing specific stuff, there's fresh
Mhm.
bait, big bait tanks behind the counter. The owner has a dog,
I can
and I
imagine
thought,
her eyes widening
"Oh,
wider and wider and wider
oh
as you're
yeah.
telling her this.
Oh yeah." She wanted it bad. So we drove by it one day, and I'm
Mhm.
like, "That's the bait shop, but I'm not stopping there right now. I'm not taking you in there right now." So we have the whole week off. She's off school. I'm off work. And she's like, "What do you wanna do?" And I'm like, "Hey, I wanna look at that net." I was like, "Will you go with me to the bait shop?" And she's like, "Let's go." So she walks right in.
Will I?
Yeah. She walks right in, and I'm like, "Okay, Lauren, same rules as any other store. Let's not touch everything, even
Mhm.
though you're gonna wanna look at everything that's in here." So we walk in, and she's like, "I'm not gonna touch anything. I'm gonna be good, no problem." She walks in the door and stops, and she's like, I can't. I'm not gonna be good. I was wrong. There's so much cool stuff in here." She's like, "We need all of this." And, so she walks right up, The owner's walking up behind the counter. She can hear the bubblers going in the big bait tanks. She walks up to the owner and she goes, "Hey, I fish with the Spencer. Anything in here he thinks would be cool?"
I remember you texted me that.
And the owner looks right down at her, doesn't see me, that looks right
Mhm.
down at her, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you been on his new boat?" She goes, "You better believe it." And then he looks up and he sees me and he's like, "Oh, I know you." he's like he's like, "Okay, I thought she was telling me a story. She's telling the truth." I was like, "Yeah, she's been out there a few times and she found a Clarence bin that actually she got some jig heads out of it and she got a couple lures out of it.
Nice.
And then she did want a Mepps inline spinner.
Mm.
And even though it was marked at $8 or $7 and some odd cents,
That stuff
I
is so
told her
crazy.
I told her I'd get it for her because I had two Mepps lures when I was a kid, and I always dreamt of catching a nice sized fish on there to qualify myself for a Mepps Master Angler certificate for having caught it on their equipment. And
Right.
of course, I never did. I lost those inline spinners just like you lose
Mhm.
any other lure. So we walked out of there. She got 5 items. I thought for sure she was going to hit me up for a new rod and reel combo because they have some awesome rigs back there that are perfect
Mhm.
size for her and probably perfect to try to catch some crappie and bluegill and stuff on. And I wasn't sweating on.
She got her new whisker stick though.
Yes, she
She
did.
got a new whisker stick. Her and Leigh
She
got their
did.
new whisker
I
sticks.
I have it here, and I got to
Mhm.
tell you, Kevin. At first, I thought there is no way that you should pay twice as much as you would pay for a Dock Demon or a Dock
Mhm.
Runner, and now I know why. This thing is tough.
Mhm.
This is one tough little rod.
So what Mike's describing is a small, what's that, like 3 foot,
Yeah, 38 inches or so.
38 inch, what used to be Whisker Seeker's ice rod, but now that's called the whisker stick. And people do use it for ice fishing, but it's if you've ever seen a dock demon from Ugly Stick or there's other small
Zebco
dock
Dock.
demon type rods,
Oh,
but it's about that size and it's orange and black, the typical Whisker Seeker colors, and it's got the cork handle and everything. But
yep.
it's got a
Nice
little trigger
trigger.
on it. All the things you would expect from Whisker Seeker in a smaller package.
The
So
eyelets
he
are nice quality. The wrapping is
I
really,
I
really
learned
nice.
the other day. I learned yesterday when I was dragging baits. I was putting my rods up. Actually, I have those Santee drifters, and
Mhm.
uh, I was just gonna leave them on the line, and I was like, "Oh, cool! They fit down into the eyes, so they're long enough to where they'll fit down in the eyes, and so they don't slap back and forth." I was like, "Cool!" So I was doing that, and then I put the Whisker Seeker rod up, and those islands are like micro
Yep.
guides, so they don't fit in there. So I thought that was interesting. Just a little off point there.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't buy so much as fishing gear. I did get some YouTuber type stuff. Um, I went live yesterday on your birthday, and unfortunately, I couldn't make it a long one because I'd forgotten my charging cable. Well, I think I got all that figured out now. I've been struggling with the dongles.
Yeah.
Like I'll plug in the dongle and I'll get a buzzing noise or whatever. I don't have to use a dongle anymore because my phone is MagSafe capable. So I bought me a charger that sticks to the back of my phone. Um, do you know what MagSafe is?
Is that magnetic charging
Yeah. So
capability?
it
Yep.
charges through magnet. So it'll just
Mhm.
attach to the back of the phone and charge my phone, and I can
Cool.
stick the microphone in the phone. So I got one of those coming. I got a cot delivered today for the back of the boat. I haven't tried it out yet because did the oil and everything. I got some new lights to hang from the bimini top inside, so when I camp inside the enclosure. I'll have plenty of light. And then I did get some more charging cables because this isn't the first time it's happened on
Mm-hmm.
the boat. So I'm gonna leave two, like in a plastic bag, Ziploc bag, just under a seat
Yeah.
somewhere, and I'll just
In your
forget
dry
that they're
box.
yeah, somewhere. Not anything that I take out of the boat ever. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be on the boat forever. Maybe in my emergency kit.
There you go.
And then as I was camping this weekend, I have the a double bedroll and a double sleeping bag for me and Anna when we camp. Well, they're bigger and they're harder to carry and they're too much to set up. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger and I got me. I didn't get the bedroll because I got the cot, but I got me a single sleeping bag, a nice XXL sleeping bag. I think it's 39 inches wide and 93 inches long. So it should fit my big body pretty good. It's mainly for a really tall guy like you, but it's also wide enough to where I won't feel like I'm a caterpillar going in a cocoon ready
Yeah.
to fly out and become a moth.
I was gonna say I'm probably about 27 or 28 inches. So you said it's 36, or did you say
39.
39? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
So
gonna
I'll
have
have
some
I'll
nice
have some
space.
room on the side. Yeah,
That way you
but
can move your arms,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. I don't like being pinned down or smothered or anything like that. And I rarely get warm enough to where I'll zip up the sleeping bag. I'll just pull the other side over me.
Oh, there you go. There you
So
go.
so yeah, so I'm ready. This past week, the last night, it's everything's a blur when you're on vacation. But last night, I camped on the actual island because it wasn't cold enough to have the enclosure on, and I had a good time. I slept on a downhill slope on a tree root, but I still fell asleep because I was so worn out after the day. I don't know why I set the tent up on a slope, and I don't know why I didn't feel that tree root when I put the sleeping bag on top of it. But once I got horizontal, man, I wasn't getting back up. So the funniest thing about that trip last night, and those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I went on an all day fishing trip yesterday, and then I went to an uninhabited island and fished off of it, camped off of it, cooked on it, all that stuff. And the if you heard the past podcast, I've been talking about I'm going to camp on the boat. Well, I didn't camp on the boat this time, so that's what I'm talking about. The tent. The funny thing is that I was perfectly fine camping alone, Mike, until people in chat on my live streamer started talking about chupacabra and alligators and snakes and people coming on the island to steal me and all that. So, of course, when I went to bed, I heard everything. And one of the things I heard was like a hatch closing on the boat or something like that. And I had my convex light set up and it was on bright, but I had the remote right by my head. So I reached back and I turned it on and it lit up the entire tent and everything around me. I had it facing the tent. And so I just leaned up and looked out the window. Of course, there's nothing there, but I kept I felt safer having that convex light where I can just boop turn that on and light it up. So that's I didn't really get any fishing gear. I did buy some sinker slides. I lost quite a few rigs this week, so got some new sinker slides and some hooks, and I'm pretty much set on fishing gear for a while. What else did you get?
Well, we were talking about how we're all gear nuts, and
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about that. I was excited getting the Garmin bobber,
Mm-hmm.
but even then, I was the detail that I was most excited about
Mm-hmm.
was the fact that I could upgrade the snap that's on this very firm cable
Really?
that comes with it, because I looked down at it and I'm like, what do we got here? Like like a size 2 or something here. I was like,
Mhm.
what are we doing here? I was like, I got these big old snaps that we use on sinker slides that are
Yep.
way nicer than this. I'm gonna
Mhm.
upgrade this right away. Then I thought about it and I'm like, my gosh, do I love those snaps. I was like, why is
They
it
make
that
it convenient.
a snap just gets me so excited about fishing equipment? I
Hmm.
mean, here I am amongst all these awesome rods and reels and this insane net, and I'm still in the back of my head, I'm like, "That snap, I gotta think of more uses for that snap because that snap is so awesome." So I wrote that down as, one of the things that I learned this week. And another thing that I thought about too, something that I should probably try to mention every podcast is what the world has taught me. And this last week, as I'm sitting here going through my work week, going through being off for a while, I just realized that I don't really know a whole lot. I think that I do, but I don't really know a whole lot. I know Lauren just snuck down the steps right now, and she might cut across here a
It's
little
okay.
bit,
She
but
heard you talking about her whisker stick.
yeah, yeah, I put reels on them. And I
Mhm.
don't I don't know if that's gonna be approved or not, but, they gotta check it out, see how it feels,
Right.
see if that's the way to go, and then I got 1 casting and 1 spinning. There was a deal, and there's still the deal for
Mhm.
the next day or 2, and, so, yep.
Hi, Miss
You
Lauren.
you can't sleep?
Everybody listening, Miss Lauren just
Well, she
joined
knows you're
us.
down.
Don't say the name so loud.
Course I'm in. Mama knows I will hear.
No one noticed she was here. So Lauren is not here. I'm sorry. We got
Yeah.
it wrong. She's not here.
Sorry, I have a bunch of stuff on the couch there. Yeah.
But yeah, most of my you said you got a spinning and a casting version.
Yeah, there was a deal where you get 2 of them and a sticker and a towel.
Mhm.
And I had mentioned that I am just in love with these microfiber towels to help keep the shad scales off of me and
Mhm.
everything and help keep it off of my equipment and stuff. But now I have the problem that I don't know if the girls want the ones that I intended for them, because I gave the
Mhm.
casting one to Leia because let's face it, when you're learning, you should probably go spin cast so that way you don't mess up all the line and everything. And
Mhm.
and I think Lauren likes that, and I think she wants a little low profile bait caster on it. So we may give that
Mm.
a try, and of course that might only last 1 cast, but we shall see.
At
So I
least you
don't know.
tried.
Maybe it's just maybe it's just me trying to talk myself into getting another pair of these things when I don't need it.
I saw the deals that Whisker Seeker had. And we talked about them and everything, and I just couldn't bring myself. And I'm glad I didn't, Mike, because let me
Yeah.
tell you, changing the oil on the boat is not cheap.
Yeah.
I got the oil, the gear lube, all the gaskets and the fittings and all this stuff, and it was like $185.
Wow.
And they didn't even change it for me, so I had to do that. I had to dispose of the oil, and then I didn't even, part of the 200-hour service is changing the water pump. And I was like, "Well, go ahead and put that on there." I said, I'm not dropping the foot of the motor today to put that on there. I'll tell you that."
Yeah. Yeah.
And just for giggles, I said, "Hey, how much would y'all charge to do it for me?" And she said, "Well, with labor, it's $115 an hour." Number one, she said 2 hours. I was like, "Oh
Whew.
my god!" So you're talking like $300. She goes, and then the part, so it'd be around $480. I'm like, "No, thanks. I'll do it myself. I'll figure it out. I'll call Catfish Bill and
Yeah.
say, 'Hey, bud, come on over, help me drop the foot of this engine.'" But
Yeah.
I didn't even get that part, so it might have been a $300 day just to do maintenance on the boat. And then I don't know if you No, or I told you, but my trolling motor plug shorted out last Thursday, so I had to fix that. That was $100. Uh, we got boat taxes coming up, so I made the executive decision to not, and I just bought his camping gear, so I made the executive decision not to buy any more rods for a while.
You
Um,
did catch a fish though,
I
live on the Whisker Seeker.
I did, I
Yes, you
did.
did. On my birthday.
It was a nice. It was an. Oh, was that the white cat or the blue? I think it was a
I
white
think
cat.
I think that was the white cat. That was a thick
Yeah,
white cat though.
yeah. I
It's
caught
been
two
eating
of them
well.
yesterday. Two of them. People say that they don't taste good. I've never eaten one of those white cats, so uh, yeah. Impeller change is no big deal, says one of our Boom Squad members. Once you do it, you realize how easy it is. Yeah, I don't have what my fear is that I'm gonna drop the foot and ruin it and all that. So I think my first time I'd rather have a buddy there just to help out. And I texted Bill, and he said, "Oh yeah, 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 I'll come over and help you." Does CatCon mean until CatCon, or does a while mean until CatCon of February? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I saw all the rods I need to see in Missouri. I don't know what I'd do with another one, to be honest with you. I need to get rid of some.
I think at this point too, you may need to just wait for the next rod to come out.
Yeah.
If you're happy, you're happy. That's
Hmm.
that's definitely what it is. I would
Well, I
say
wanted to
I'm
try
not
that whisker
unhappy with the
sticker you
rods I
did.
have.
Mhm.
I'm just happy continuing to buy fishing equipment. That's my deal. You know.
Well, I'm getting into the camping thing now, and
Mhm.
I want to be comfortable when I do that. Because if you're not comfortable and you're not having, then you're not having fun. If you're not having fun, you're not going to keep doing it. So I want to make sure I'm comfortable with that. And yeah, you're right. I've tried. I think I've tried all the rods I wanted to try. The Whisker Seeker was one on the list, and that new Ugly Stick um, Catfish Special, which actually the special is a lot like the original, except that the tip is a little more flexy. So it's a little odd that they call it the special. I wonder if they just rebranded the old rod and put a new grip on it. I don't know.
I thought it looked thicker. Excuse me. I thought it was just ever so slightly thicker.
Mm, I think the old rod is thicker actually. I'll have to do a side
Oh,
by side comparison. Maybe I'll do that. I'll do a review video.
yeah, that'd be
Well,
cool.
we can talk about that. But yeah, I think I'm done buying rods for a while. And listen, Mike, I'm gonna have. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Steve might get upset at me, but I got so much stuff for the swap meet. Like it's just tons of stuff. I mean, I have the depth finder. I have. I'm thinking about bringing rods up, but I don't know yet.
Mhm.
I have a couple reels. I have a lot of tackle, like sumo spoons and things like that I just don't use anymore. And
Man, I just bought some sumo spoons.
I don't think you would want these. These are the single hook ones.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah, I
like
bought
those?
sumo single hook ones.
Well, then I'll just bring them to you at CatCon. You can have
Well,
them.
look at it this way too. We're 2 people,
Mhm,
you know, 5 items per day per
mhm,
person, $5. So at the very least, we can try to get rid of
mhm.
20 items for it. I don't actually plan on taking any equipment there and selling it. And then think about it too. You may decide that you might have some sort of options there closer to you too. You
Well,
know?
I think what I'm gonna do with all that tackle, I don't wanna sell all that stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe we can have a box there for you to hand kids stuff out to kids
Yep. That's what I
like you
thought
were doing.
about too. I was like,
Just
I
on a
probably got
smaller scale. I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
it's tough to give out rods all the time, but if
Mhm.
you got a box of tackle right there, they can look through and you can say, "All right, you can pick one item out of here," and then they can
Absolutely.
go through and they'll have fun, like a little scavenger hunt or something. Freddie
Absolutely.
said he's going to have Freddy cats to bring to the swap meet. uh, yeah, the lower we have a Boom Squad member commenting. Whiskers and Stripes said your lower unit isn't that heavy, and being new, it shouldn't be stuck. But having a partner first time wouldn't hurt. That's right. Yeah, I'm gonna have a partner. And then Freddie said that not much difference in the ugly stick catfish and catfish pro rods. Uh, no, I don't think so. Whiskers and Stripes. He asked if he thought Steve Douglas would mind if he sold monster rod holders cheap. I don't think so.
I think they'll go quick.
Yeah, I think if anybody's in the market for a low rance triple shot, I'm gonna have one there for really, really cheap. Really, really cheap. And that will allow me to buy the new monster bank rod holders. I want to get a couple of those too. I think that's I think that's the only thing I'm looking forward to purchasing. Um I wanted a couple at Kansas City, but I flew back, so I couldn't
Yeah.
get them. I just want two. Rams Bait and Tackle is sending me a couple to try out,
hmm
so I'll have those, and then I'll have a couple of Steves, and just have some different options there to choose from for this bank fishing thing.
That's a good topic, or makes me think of a good topic. Brand loyalty is something that a lot of people talk about, and a lot of people
Mhm.
feel differently about that. But what I will say is, when you're on the bank, you run into
Mhm.
different types of bank to where
Yep.
the different types of bank rod holders work here extremely well and not so good over there. So it's a great idea for you to have a couple options, just like you were on there uh, the other night. You were able to just fish your rods right out of the back of your boat,
Yep.
which is great. But if you have a couple bank rod holders, you might be able to set a rod up, 30, 40 yards down the bank because you think that there might be a nice little point there that, you could
Yeah.
focus in on
Well,
some traffic.
and I want to really try out the bank fishing. And here's the thing: pulling a pontoon boat up on the bank is awesome because you get that little extension out there, and you have the
Mhm.
rod holders on the back of the boat. But what y'all don't realize is when that rod goes down, I have to run from wherever I am, jump up on the boat, which for
Yep.
a big guy is a little tough, uh, and then get back there. And these bones are getting older and more brittle. So but no, I'd like to actually try bank fishing, especially now our lake is going to be low, and so I can get more access on to the bank. But yeah, Monster Rod Holders has that new rod holder made. Is it Muddy Waters Catfishing?
Yeah, I
Or is
think
it
that was the name of it.
something like that? He made them
Austin.
for
Yeah.
Yeah, he made it for CatCon or for Monster Rod Holders. And you get a set of them?
I bought 6
Mhm.
and I gave a couple to Trish. So she
Sweet.
was really excited
Yeah,
about that.
because
I
you
didn't
can't
fish
fish
with
with
them.
6 rods.
No, no, not unless I got both my kids with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gave a couple to Trish. She was really excited about that.
They look
And
good.
Mexicat and I were out, and I made him
Mhm,
try one because he had all bait casting reels and he
mhm,
loved them. And mine were spinning rods
mhm.
and reels. And I'm telling you, they're it's a nice built product. I I'm almost wanting it to be just a couple inches taller,
Mm,
but that's also if the bank is pretty soft. I
mhm.
still want a specific height out of it. Doesn't always work out so well, but that's just coming from a guy who does a whole lot of bank fishing. So I could be
Well,
right
and
and I
you
could be wrong.
well, I mean, and no, you're right because that's what your preference is. I mean, and that's the thing with trying new things and talking about brand loyalty, just to bring it full circle. You know, I I didn't start seriously targeting catfish until I started YouTube. And before then, all I fished with was ugly sticks. Nothing wrong with them, but they don't have the backbone and everything that the new rods have. So I started trying them out. Now, do I have favorites for different reasons. And I
Mhm.
think as a guy who likes things to be matching, the rod thing has been the hardest thing for me. And it's actually
Yeah.
broken me of that match thing.
Yeah.
Because I like to have everything matching, uh, everything looks good, whatever. But I can't tell you how happy it would make me to have, 8 green rods on the front or 8 black rod or whatever. But, I'm enjoying the journey trying all the different rods out. Now, eventually, I think I will pull the trigger on something, um, but I'm not ready for that yet.
Yeah. The other part of that has been getting to know the companies
Yep.
and sometimes getting to know the owners of
Yeah.
those companies. That
Mhm.
was something that I didn't expect when we were in Kansas City for the CatCon. I knew I
Mhm.
was gonna run into Steve Douglas, and I knew
Mhm.
that he was a cool dude. I knew that we were gonna have a great time. I knew we were gonna have some laughs,
Mhm.
a couple challenges here and there that we would work through as a team, whatever it was, and I didn't expect to run into one of the owners of Rippin' Lips,
Yeah. Was it
and
Alex?
I'm so bad with names. As soon
A
as I
It's
s
Alex and Doug.
they say I think it was Doug. They say, "Hi,
Mhm.
hi, I'm Doug." As soon as I say, "Hi, I'm Mike," I forget their names. I'm that bad. I'm that
Well,
guy.
especially I mean, don't feel bad about that. I mean, that's
Yeah,
an event where you're meeting tons of new people
yeah. Well,
left
I
and
I
right.
could do that. I could do that with anybody. I'm so
I'm
horrible with
I'm giving
names.
you an out, Mike. I'm
Yeah.
giving you a
Well, anyway, I met him and just in passing back and forth as everybody's getting set up, and then I ran into him again, the next morning. Both of us were trying to hustle in and out of the bathroom before
Mhm.
the gates opened and all these
Right.
people came through, and then I ran into him again the following morning at breakfast. So instantly, we're buds because we ran into each other 3 times, and he's just like, "How'd your day go yesterday, man? It was a whirlwind." We had that common,
Mhm.
uh topics to talk about
Yeah.
and discuss the experience, and he was such a cool dude. And then also too, the next morning, we had breakfast with Chris from Catfish.
Mhm.
I don't even know his last name, but that
Hunt
guy
Chris
was
hunts
so nice.
fishes.
That guy is so nice, and we got to talking about this and that. I was trying to find shirts for my kids, and he
Mhm.
was like, "Ooh, I don't know if we brought a lot of those sizes with," He's like, "We probably have
Mhm.
something." So I went over there to look. I'm having other people look. Yeah. And here's a great point to this. A package showed up on the door the other day because I have been ordering from that company now,
Mhm.
and Lauren knew what it was. She goes, "Hey, it's from our friends at Catfish," because she
Cool.
knows his logo now.
Mhm.
And he sent me a message the other day saying, "Hey, sorry, I'm not gonna be able to get this part of your order out until, we shut down the shop for Christmas. We're not opening." I was
Mhm.
like, "Don't go in and do that for me, man. Enjoy your time. It's family,"
Mhm.
but the guy's a workaholic. You could tell that.
Yeah, he
From
is.
a mile away, you could tell the guy's a workaholic, and he just loves it. He's got a passion,
Mhm.
he's invested, he's positive, he just wants to have that positive impact, and that was
That's
something
that's
I
the
didn't
thing.
expect to have happen.
Yeah.
So that is amazing, and we run into those situations with all these different companies, so that's why I'm just like, "Heck yeah, I wanna go look at those hooks," I wanna look at those rods, I wanna look at all
Yeah,
this stuff.
and it's kinda a little off topic, but I mean, you have that behind the scenes relationship with those people, and you're kinda like a team even though you're
Yep,
not working together.
yep,
It's like you're busy working the whole day, you have an area. He's busy working the whole day, he's got an area. Just a regular dude just like us, and, uh, that's you get that camaraderie at those events like that, and, I think I don't think, I know that's why I have a hard time, like, moving on to something else.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've met this guy or this lady and they own this, and the product's good. The product's good. Is it my
Yep.
favorite? No, it's not. But I want to continue to support that person because they're good people. They do a lot for the community and they have a good product. So that's why it's kind of hard to move on. You get in those relationships, and
Yeah.
relationships are super important. I think they're more important than anything else. At the end of the day, you have business is business. But if you can help it, try to support everybody, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do. Thanks for the donation, Freddy's Outdoor Adventures, the $5. He said he loves the shows, fellas. Keep it up. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. You didn't have to do that. Uh, Last little thing here. We got 10 minutes. I thought about a topic, and I did a little bit of both this week. Live stream fishing versus edited videos. What's your favorite to watch? Not to make, but what's your favorite to watch? And give me a little bit of pros and cons for both from your perspective.
That's a tough topic. It's very detailed. I find myself watching a lot of both. And I'm not saying that like I'm some expert, but I wonder about that too. And I think about this topic a lot because
Mhm,
if someone goes live and they're fishing, I'm going to turn it on.
mhm,
There is no way that I will not turn it on. If my eyes are open, I will turn it on. Doesn't mean that
mhm.
I'm active in the chat or I try to
Right.
say hey to everybody and introduce to everybody that I'm there. But if somebody is if they're even talking about fishing, if I can turn
Mhm,
it on, I will. There's
mhm.
very little that I miss, and it's to the point to where even Lauren and Kristen are just like, "Seriously, you're watching something and you're cooking." I'm like, "Yeah, but that's okay because I don't have to watch it all if I can hear it, and it keeps my mind off of things, and if I'm at work, I'm allowed to do whatever I want on my
Well, I mean,
computer. I
kids
can
kids do it all the time. They listen to music while
Yeah,
they're doing things, so it's your
absolutely.
music.
Absolutely. When we were younger, that's what I did. I always had a Walkman. That's why
Mhm.
I can't hear it half the stuff that anybody says to me because those little earbuds that went inside back then, man,
Mhm.
crank those suckers up and blow your ears out, and they weren't kidding. I just don't think I can
Ah!
hear like that. But, to the point of your question, I really think that a video
Mhm,
gives an opportunity to cut anything out and really tell you a specific story, to give you the specific details of the
mhm,
day or the weekend or the week, whatever it is that that angler has gone through.
mhm,
Because sometimes they go fish a place for 3 days
mhm,
and they will quickly do that day 1, day 2, day 3, and then they'll tell you, in the outro what they thought of this and that and
mhm,
everything and how they mapped out and found the pattern of the fish or how they didn't. And I know that everybody that I talk to about their videos gets really critical of themselves and they're like, this is just I'm not going to get a video out of this.
yeah.
The yesterday
I've
yesterday,
said that
you even
before.
said it. You're like, "I caught a couple fish, but nothing big, so I don't know if it'll be a video." I'm like, "It's a video if you want it to be."
Mhm.
And that's the cool part, I think, of y'all being those creators, and I say you all because I haven't posted a video in months and months. It to the point too that I haven't been a consistent creator, so I will not fill out a creator nomination form for the whiskers because
Mm.
I haven't consistently created anything probably in 6 months. Probably the first 6 months, I would do
What
a
do you
little bit
call
here and
this,
there.
Mike? What do you call what we're doing
Well,
right now?
this is different. This is different. This is audio and
Anyway,
video, so
continue
I
with
don't
your
have to think
point.
about it. But I almost feel bad that a lot of people think that their videos have to contain a few specific items or details or like you alluded to yesterday, and I could be wrong, but you said none of the fish were big. I don't care if you catch big fish. I don't care if you catch small fish. Just the fact that you're trying something, you're fishing, you're providing us with details. You could yesterday, for all I know, you could have put all of your baits just on Carolina rigs and nothing up on a Demon Dragon style float. Yesterday, you could have used all orange Demon Dragon style floats for all I know. And I don't. There's another thing too. I don't know well enough what colors Catfish Bill's Demon Dragons are off the top of my head. I know they're pretty, and I know I've always wanted them.
Mhm.
You could have had all his floats on there the day before when you were fishing with Bill, and then you could have gone completely without him yesterday. I don't know. So to me, even that one detail, you could piece together a video. But you're also talking about a creator who does great stuff with music, great
Mhm.
stuff with scenery, great stuff with the telling that story. And so many creators do that. That's
Mhm.
I don't feel right saying, "Hey man, you could do it and I'll watch it no matter what," because your video has to be yours.
True.
It might be put out there for everybody to look at, but when it comes down to it, it's yours.
Mhm.
And it has to be what you want it to be. And maybe there's a blooper in there that makes it uh
So what that
something you
being
have
said,
to tell.
what do you look forward to in a fishing video? Like, what does a video have to have? And I'm not talking about fish or a boat or any specific thing. It could be an idea. What does a video have to keep your interest? And I'm not talking about my videos per se, but any video to keep your interest to where you'll watch it from start to finish.
I like the talk. It has to have dialogue
Good
throughout.
point. That's good.
I'll throw out someone that we both know who was on a show tonight, Dieter Melhorn.
Mm-hmm.
He talks it through,
Mm-hmm.
and in that, he is helping to teach me. And I don't know if he gives himself enough credit for being such a great teacher, but I think last year he might have won that Guru Award for the Golden
He did.
Whiskers, didn't he?
Yep.
And that is what I think of him. And he was on a different show tonight, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what they said of him too. They're like, he's a wealth of knowledge. Appreciate him for
Mm-hmm.
being on the show. And he will sit there, and in the video, sometimes he'll talk about something, and he'll be like, "Oh, maybe they're hitting it because of this," and then
Mm-hmm.
he'll be like, maybe not. Maybe it's just because of that." So he's talking out loud. He's talking to himself. He's not arguing with himself, but all the while, I am soaking up all this information.
And that's hard to do, when you're especially when you're in the heat of the moment when a fish does hit. It's hard sometimes to remember to talk during that because you're having an inner dialogue with yourself. It's like, oh,
Yep.
is it going to run into that line, or am I putting too much pressure on it? Is my drag set right? And it's tough to you know vocalize those thoughts because really that's all you got to do is vocalize it. But that's a good point. And some people in the chat are putting the same thing: story and a good pacing. Um, they both have their own pros and cons. Edited video tells a story. Lives are the best way to get to know the real person. Short but decent intro, dialogue about a video, a little information, the guts, quick review, and a short outro. I've been messing around with like no intros and no outros, just straight
and I
into the
love it.
fishing.
I didn't want to put you on the spot on that right away, but
Uh-huh.
now you let the cat out of the bag.
Mhm.
So sometimes I don't need the intro. I
Mhm.
don't need the, hey, we're out here on this lake and we got this idea and we're doing this and we thought this might be crazy or this and that or
Mhm.
whatever, you know.
Modernizing a little bit.
Sometimes a lot of people do the same thing over and over again,
Mhm.
and sometimes they just jump right into it, and
Mhm.
and I love that. I love that change of pace because the that's what fishing is to me. Like sometimes I go to a spot, I'm just like, oh yeah, I can kind of expect this and kind of expect that. And one day I caught a 20.5 pound muskie on a
Mm.
carp bait.
Mhm.
And I thought I was being punked. I was like, "What on earth just
That's
happened?"
not a real muskie.
My line must have went 100 yards from left to right in front of me
Mhm.
in maybe 7 or 8 seconds. And
Mhm.
I'm like, "What is that line doing? What's wrong?" And some of these guys, and maybe they just try to take things too seriously. You know, you look at something, and I'll throw out another name, and I know I'm throwing out big names here, but kayak catfish.
Mhm.
He caught so many big fish on one of the videos he let out. I want to say 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
He was laughing because he caught fish that were so big. He caught so
Mhm.
many of them, and his arms hurt.
Mhm.
And he's laughing about it because there's nothing more that he can do. He's like, I
I can hear his laugh
I
right
can't
now.
fish this. I can't fish like this all day. I won't be able to lift my arms tomorrow. And he's laughing because he's having so much fun.
Mhm.
He enjoyed it so much. And you could tell part of it is almost like a mild embarrassment, like, oh my gosh, everybody, I am so sorry that you all can't catch 7 40+ pound blue cats all in a row right here in a couple hours with
Mhm.
me. And he would want you to.
Mhm.
He would love to have any of y'all in
Mhm.
a kayak right there with him, catching
I
big
don't know
fish
about
right there with
that.
him. I think he's a good dude, and I
Oh, he
never
is.
it's,
He is.
that day, his fishing went so well, it
Mhm.
was just like that, like they say, an embarrassment of riches.
Those
It
days are
all
like
worked.
those days are the days that you get amped up for. That's the reason you get up early and you
Yep,
suit up and you hook up the boat and you do all this crazy stuff, catch bait is for
yep,
days like that. And they don't come often. Not for me anyway.
yeah.
But when they do. So yeah, just and I know we're over time for the show, but I'll give my short thoughts on this topic. I like videos when they're fast paced, they get to the point, they have some information in it, and either information or they're entertaining. Uh, I like it when people use cool camera angles to look at new perspectives, and I like it when people use humor and they're not afraid to make fun of themselves because it makes it fun for me to watch.
Yeah.
If they're like, "Oh yeah, that was stupid. I'm not gonna do that again." I'm like, "Yeah, I think the same thing all the time." Um, and
Absolutely.
I like it when people aren't make videos and they're not pretentious. It's not, you have to do it this way or else, you doesn't make any sense. You know, I don't like being I'm hard-headed, Mike, if you didn't already know. I don't like people cramming stuff down my throat that I don't believe in. So I don't do it to other people. I like it when people make videos and say, "This is what I do. You should try it if you want, and it might work for you." I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? I might try that." And when I first got into targeting catfish, I didn't know what dragging baits was, and I saw a Dieter Melhorn video, and he was dragging baits. I was like, I've never heard of that before. I'm gonna try that, and I tried it, and I loved it. For a whole year, that's all I did was drag baits. I didn't anchor. I didn't do much else. I drug baits.
I know
Now,
Dieter's a real busy guy, but I want to throw something in here real quick
mhm.
just to see if he happens to listen to our podcast, which of course he probably doesn't. Dieter, bring the ponytail back.
Hashtag ponytail.
Bring it back.
If you don't know who we're talking about, go check out Dieter Melhorn Fishing on YouTube. He also has a podcast, so go check out his podcast. Now the live streams, I'm a little bit different than you. I get bored very easily, um, very easily. I believe that I have undiagnosed ADHD. Um, with a little bit of anxiety in there. So, when I'm watching a live stream, if the person in the live stream isn't talking the whole time, isn't
Mm-hmm.
being interactive or not catching fish or, stuff like that, I lose interest.
Yeah.
Um, or if it's a talk show, if there's not good dialogue going back and forth and there's awkward pauses and everything, I find it hard. Not that there's anything wrong with the content. I
Yeah.
just find it hard to focus. But I do agree with you where if I'm at work or I'm doing something and somebody's live fishing or whatever, I'll put it on in the background because that's my music,
Yep.
so I'll listen to that. Now, when it comes to which one do I prefer a well edited, well thought out video over a live stream. What about you?
I will admit that I watch several creators' videos pretty much the minute they let him out. And other creators' videos, I'm not drawn to watch them the minute they come out. But if they're live fishing, that I always click on that just to see what's going on. And I'll try to go back to their videos later
Yeah,
on. But
everyone gets lucky, and maybe
yeah.
they'll get lucky on a live stream.
Yep, that's right. If the line's in the water, they got a shot.
That's right.
Hey,
Well, hey everyone.
I know we're desperately over time here.
Yeah, go ahead.
But hey Lauren, come here. Come here. Kevin just asked. Here, stand up. Stand up. Kevin just asked, do you like watching live fishing or videos more? Do you have an opinion? And this is the microphone right here. You like watching people live fish, like Kevin live fish yesterday and today, or you like videos? Which one's better?
Fishing.
Ooh, 5-year-old says live fishing.
There you go.
Yep. All right.
That's awesome. Well, and I think, and there is no right answer or wrong answer. You like what you like, and I'm going to continue to do both. Did a lot of live streaming this week, and I may get a chance to do it again this weekend. So we'll see. Tomorrow is a wife-only day. We are going to breakfast. We're going to watch movies. We're going to the movies. Sorry, we're going to do, go run some errands together. No fishing will be involved, so I will be off of fishing on Thursday.
So you're saying if you go to Walmart, you won't go down the fishing aisle?
Can't guarantee that.
Yeah.
Can't guarantee that.
That would be allowed.
That would be allowed.
That would
But
be
anyway,
allowed.
everybody, thank you so much for the support. Thank you to the Boom Squad for being in here. Thank you, Freddie, for that $5 donation. Thank you to everybody listening on the podcast. It means a lot that you listen to us and that you take time out of your day, whether it's driving or we're at work and you got us on in the background. Either way, you're listening, and I appreciate you, and I know Mike does, so I'll go ahead and speak for him. That being said, we're going to do our prayer and we're going to get on out of here. Heavenly Father, thank you again for another awesome show. Thank you for Mike and our guests and the Boom Squad. I thank you for everybody listening. I thank you for making this happen and giving us this opportunity to share our love with fishing with others around the nation that share our interests. And we give you all the credit and glory for all things. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, everybody. Well, you know what that means. We're out of here. Until next time, happy fishing.